Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk on Houston City Beat. I'm Lisbeth Newton, and today we've got my friend Yanira Mendoza joining us from Holistic Divorce Coach. Yanira, thanks for coming on board and chatting with us today. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much for the invitation. It's an honor for me to be here in your program. Thank you for
Yeah,
the invitation.
you're welcome. You're welcome. So I originally connected with you through the Houston City Beat community Facebook group. That's how I found out about what you do. And to me, it was very intriguing because I've been through a divorce myself. And when I've seen your content, I thought to myself, wow, I wish I would have known you back then because it really would have helped me make that transition in a way that was productive and loving to myself. So when we developed this program of Let's Talk on Houston City Beat, I thought it would be wonderful to have you join us and share with others out there what it is that you do.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I am a divorce coach, but I do not train people to get divorced because a lot of people confuse the term coach because a coach is a trainer. But I do not train people for divorces. I help them go through the process. Let me tell you a little bit about my background so people understand where I'm coming from. I was a paralegal, divorce paralegal for 25 years, and I saw so many things. And then I saw that, miscommunication, that a lack of information, uh, the emotions that take over when you were going through probably a little fight and then becomes something huge, and it's something that you could have prevented. But when you go to the attorney, they don't ask you, are you sure you want to get divorced? Are you sure you already fixed the situation? They just tell you, bring me, this amount of money and we'll start. And well, sometimes proud people don't want to back off and just say, okay, you file, let's do it. So I think my career will save a lot of money to people and a lot of heartbreaks. What do
Yeah.
you think?
I I 100% agree. Absolutely. And what made you start or what inspired you to become a divorce coach?
Well, besides all the knowledge that I, got for those 25 years working as a divorce paralegal, I had my own experience when I was very young on my first marriage. I lost my son to his father. I didn't know what to do. I was barely 18. Well, I was in my early 20s. So he took my son away from me, and I didn't see him for 11 years.
Wow.
So that made me wanted to get answers, what I could have done, who I could have called. I didn't know anything about it. And plus, I had just immigrated to this country. So I was new. I didn't think I had rights. I didn't know much. So with the years, the heaviness that I had, the guilt that I felt, because sometimes you are guilty or you feel guilty for things that are not your fault.
Yeah, yeah.
So I went to an attorney's office hoping to get a job cleaning the office because I had just, a few years in the United States. I didn't have a chance to go to school or educate myself on anything. I was cleaning offices and I was working in a gas station. So I said, well, maybe if they give me a job as a cleaning people, I can pay attention or I can ask questions. But luckily, the attorney who hired me said, you know what, I need a Hispanic person to get my phone calls in Spanish because his practice was a injury, a personal injury, and his clientele was 80% Hispanic. So say it's hard for me to communicate with them because he was a Nigerian attorney. So that's how I got my foot into the law firm. But then, there is a saying there that however is within yourself is out. I start pulling people that needed divorces and needed custody and stuff. So his practice changed from personal injury to a family law office. And that's how I started my journey, learning how to do petitions for divorce, asking questions. It was a hard journey, but I was able to handle it because I wanted to know, I wanted to learn, and I wanted to avoid these people, going through divorces to go what I went through without the knowledge.
Yeah, yeah. And how many cases do you call them cases, or when you work with someone? Well, here, let me ask you this. Do you work with men and women, or do you just
Yes,
work with both?
I work with both because pain doesn't have, sex preferences. So
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen in the office that those are called clients and those are called cases. In my practice, those are called healing cases, practice, holistic practice. So
Holistic practice. Okay.
yes, yes. So I help anybody who is going, through pain. It doesn't necessarily have to be a divorce because there's a lot of people who have lost their loved ones uh, through death, and it's hard to cope with those situations. So if you don't get help, that mourning period can last years, and then you miss it out in life. My mission is to get you well so you can actually enjoy life.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm here for.
That's beautiful. Would you be able, and without disclosing any names, would you be able to give us a happy story, a happy outcome of one of the clients that you have worked with, whether it's a woman or a man that you coach them through, maybe whether it was a successful divorce or being able to save their marriage? Could you share something, one of those stories with us?
Of course, I have many. Well, I'm gonna share first the one that the lady had an issue, childhood issue, and she wasn't happy. And then, as I mentioned before, when we are not happy, we cannot irradiate that happiness to others. So she was seeking for divorce because they were having a lot of problems. They will fight a lot. So she came to my practice, and then we talk, and then we heal that was bothering her from the past. And she was able to save the marriage because sometimes the problem is not your partner, but it's whatever you carrying. I can even say you because it's not the person, it's whatever uh, you're saving there, the
Your
resentment.
baggage.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, yeah,
whatever you're carrying. So she was able to save her marriage. Unfortunately, not everybody end up like that. uh and what happens is when people look for me, it's already in the worst situation. They already have an attorney. They already going through the process. They already, probably closing that case, that divorce, but they still hurting from the pain, from the, all the drama that had caused, the economic, turn that it's not good when you're fighting. Whoever gets more benefits from your money is the attorney, and
yeah.
they're happy to do it. But if we are smart and we find a way to um, communicate with your partner to be able to reach agreements before taking this to a law firm, it's going to be so much easier and less what's the word I'm looking for, tiring, devastating,
Hmm.
because it's hard. You're dealing with so many emotions at that moment. You don't know which one to pick. One day you're upset, one day you're mad, and the other day you just don't know where you're going.
Hmm.
Because a divorce, it's not just a divorce, it's a life changing event. And you have to think not only about you but your children, your family, the extended family. How you going to tell them, how you going to face them. There's so much going on at that moment that you really need support, and you really need somebody to tell you how to deal with those different things. Even school for children, you have to go to school and tell them what's going on. If the divorce is over, you have to bring the paperwork, so the other person cannot just go to school and snatch the kid and take him somewhere. So it's a lot going on. It's very overwhelming, but I'm here for that.
Yeah, yeah. Have you ever encountered a situation where one of the spouses is abusive and you're coaching that other spouse out of that abusive relationship?
Well, I don't coach them out of the relationship. I make them
Well,
like,
maybe coaching isn't the right word. Maybe
yeah,
it's more
well,
of like provide them guidance.
they have to have the conscience that they don't
Hmm.
want to be there. So that's what I work on. What are the benefits of your staying, and what will
Hmm.
be the benefits of you leaving? Because you cannot tell somebody in that situation what to do.
Hmm.
First, because they won't listen. It's not easy to say, okay, it's easier for us to say, get out of that situation. You need to
Hmm.
leave now. But you don't know if this person depends economically from, the husband or wife. You don't know what's the situation. In my case, it was, if you leave, I kill you. So it's scary. So you have to have that certainty that if you leave, you will not go back. It doesn't matter what
Hmm.
happens. Because a lot of people are afraid to go to shelters. But if that's your only choice, it's better than, lose your life in a bad relationship. So my job is to bring conscious, or I don't know what else word to
Yeah.
use, to the person, so they can decide whether it's healthy for them to stay, or it's, and not just for them, but when you have children, they are
Hmm.
seeing everything that is happening, and we are just sending the wrong message to them, because they will think that that's a normal life to live, and it's not. So you have to educate the person so they can make the right decision, and educate their kids, telling them that that's not the right way to live.
Okay. All right. Beautiful. That is definitely you. It goes back to that saying, you can bring a horse to water, but you cannot make him drink.
That's right.
It's a perfect analogy on that. So thank you, Yanira, for taking some time to share with us. We'd love to have you back on Let's Talk on Houston City Beat,
Of course.
and to share any, maybe possibly even do a workshop or something of that nature to really help people heal the things that hurt them, that stop them from living their best life.
It will be my pleasure. Thank you so much for the invitation. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you. And that's all we have for this session of Let's Talk on Houston City Beat. I'm Lisbeth Newton, and we'll see you next time.